Hello, my name is Kelly Brown, and I became a Kinship youth at the age of 5. And up until that time, I had lived with my mother and 3 older cousins and my grandparents from the beginning of my life. When I was 5 years old, what seemed like a very sudden and unplanned move happened, where my family decided to buy a farmhouse in Central California and move there. Super confusing time. I didn't understand why we would do that. I was settled in at school in kindergarten, had a lot of friends in the city that we lived in, and so did my cousins. So never really understood and don't understand to this day exactly what happened that made that move happen. But once we arrived at the farmhouse that we moved to, I realized quickly that my mom was not staying and that I was going to stay there alone with my cousins and my grandparents. So that's probably one of the more difficult memories that I have of growing up, is that confusing time of not understanding why something is happening, the sudden change, and not being able to control the outcome for myself in any way, the direction that my life was going then, really just feeling like you're a passenger and not really able to do anything to change what's going on around you. But I do have some really amazing times of being raised by my grandparents on this farm that I ended up being raised on. We raised animals and grew our own crops. We were quite poor, but I never really felt that way. Looking back, realize now, that we had to raise our own food, and did also have to depend on government assistance for my grandparents, who were retired, to raise what is 4 of their grandchildren. Being able to have access to a place where they could have known about resources that were available for kinship families would have been invaluable at that time. So the best memories really to me, and advice that I would have for kinship caregivers today, would be to create an environment of feeling of belonging and being needed, because that's really some of the best memories that I have, is never feeling not wanted, and that my grandparents, that I was impeding on their life in any way. I really always felt like I was part of their little kinship family, that I was wanted there and I was needed there. We would get up in the mornings and go for long walks, and we would take care of the farm and make sure the fences were mended and the animals were fed and that the plants were attended to. And I was with them really from morning till evening, and never felt like I was not supposed to really be there, regardless of the really difficult emotions that were going on, wanting to be back with my mother. My grandparents really, as caregivers, were just amazing and helped me to be well adjusted. For kinship youth, my advice would be is to focus on the future, to know that you have a very long life ahead of you, and that while you can't control what's happening right now, that you can control where you go later in your life and what you do later in life and how you raise your own family. And I feel like I have been able to take some of the really great examples that my grandparents set for me about how to care for someone and how to go out of your way to make people feel needed and wanted. And also some of the more painful memories that I have, being able to know how to take care of my own children today, and to make sure they feel stable, and that they don't ever have that kind of confusion about what the future holds for them. That they know that I'll always be here for them, and that their father will be here with them, and that they're our number one priority, and that they can go to sleep and wake up every day knowing that. I think that's all I have to say about being a kinship youth and for kinship families. Just really appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and then also to be part of this program to provide resources and a connection for kinship families across the state of California, because I know how important it would have been and what a difference it would have made in the lives of my grandparents while they were struggling to figure out how to give their grandkids a really great life. So thank you so much, and have a great day.